Hi everybody, welcome to Dandelion Cottage and Paper Crafting Thursday. I'm Leslie Watkins. So I'm a little bit late today. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to come on at all, but I really wanted to share what I'm working on. So I've got this beautiful box that I designed using the Perennial Lavender Suite, and I'm going to show you what's inside this box in a little while. But first, I just want to say that I did have a dental appointment this afternoon, and I went, and it turned out that my hygienist was not well, and so she canceled. So now my new dental appointment is going to be next week, and I think it's on Wednesday. I'm not sure, but anyway, I will be letting you know ahead of time, and we will change the time a little bit. I've been working on this project with the Perennial Lavender and the Lovely Lavender bundle, and I have absolutely fallen in love with these products. So it's almost done, but inside of this box there is one little area that I need to decorate further, and I decided the way I wanted to do that is with 3D paper sculpted flowers, and I was going to do it yesterday, and I thought, no, I'm going to make a video of it because I'm sure there are people out there that are going to be interested in seeing how I do that. So that is the plan, and I'm going to be using, to make the flowers, I'm going to be using these punches, and let me just make sure that we are working here, and that looks good. All right, so these two punches are really nice punches, and you can find them in the back of the annual catalog. Now this catalog is actually coming to a close. It goes to the end of April 2024. So if there are any last minute items in here that you want to get, you want to make sure that you get them now, because they're not going to be around forever. And if things begin to run out, they're probably not going to be replaced. And these punches are two things that I like a lot. And then the other thing I want to mention is that there's only 7 days left of Celebration. And if you don't know what Celebration is, it's a special annual event. It's going on right now. It's going to end on the last day of February, so that's the 29th, that's 7 days from now. And it means that you can get free product with every $50 or $100 that you spend on things from both the big catalog here and also this catalog. Okay, so this is the current mini catalog. It looks like this. It goes from January to April, and so things in here are also available for a limited time only, and that includes the suite that I'm using today. So this is the Perennial Lavender, and if you get the entire suite, it comes with all of these different things. We're not going to be using everything today, but I will be using quite a few of the dies that you see here with the painted lavender bundle, and that's on page 24. You can also see all of this online. And then the celebration thing is that for every $50 or $100 that you spend, you get to select things for free from this brochure. So it's really the very best time of year to do a little paper crafting shopping. And if you're interested, if you've been following me for a while and you like what you see, and you'd like to join my team, and I would love to have you. It's a design team, and we get together once a month. We've got live Zooms where we're represented by people across the country. It's a fabulous, supportive, friendly group of people. We have a lot of fun. If you decide to join the team and get the starter kit, so you could get all of this stuff in your starter kit at a substantial savings, you could also select the Glass Mat Studio, or you could get additional product, an additional $30 in free products. So it's a little bit confusing. If you have any questions, let me know. Message me, email me, get a hold of me, all the different things. But you can also go onto my website at dandelioncottagedesign.com, and you will find a lot more information there under the Join tab. And you can also go on to the website, the Stampin' Up! Website, and learn more as well. But if you do decide that you're interested in joining the Dandelion Cottage design team, you're going to find that there are an awful lot of benefits, and those are all listed at dandelioncottagedesign.com, so you can read through that thoroughly. There's just way too many things for me to mention here. But so let's get back to these punches for a second. So the leaf and berry punch that I'm using is called the Bow Punch, and it's here on page 148 of the big annual catalog. And by the way, this dragonfly punch is now available as a celebration free item, and this is an awesome punch. I will never get rid of my dragonfly. I love dragonflies. You can get that for free with a $100 order, so don't forget that. And then somewhere here, I hope, this is the punch. It's called, it might be in the bundle section. Let's go back here a little bit. See if I can find it. So much good stuff here. It's called the Petal Park Builder Punch, and I will be listing all the things that I used today, so I'll have a complete list that you'll be able to click on it and find everything easily. So if I can't put my finger on it here, you will be able to find those things when I'm done. So let's just, oh, here it is, right here. Petal Park Builder Punch, and this is an awesome punch. It's got a leaf shape, and it's got a large, medium, and small flower shapes. And this is what I'm going to be using today. I'm going to show you some paper crafting magic in just a second. So let's just clear this stuff away. And it looks like some people are here. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Teresa. Hey, Charlotte. Charlotte, I don't know if you had a minute to watch the replay of yesterday's Watercolor Wednesday, but I opened up that beautiful package you sent me, and wow, I just love what you made. And thank you so very much for thinking of me. That was really very special, and I absolutely love it. All right, so to prepare for today, I did go ahead and I did a bunch of die cutting. And so I gathered up some cardstock. So I've got Lost Lagoon, Highland Heather, just a whole bunch of colors that I thought would coordinate well with this paper. And you can see there's a lot of beautiful colors in there, including Pretty Peacock. And I went ahead and I punched out some things, but I just want to demonstrate how easy this punch is to use. So, I've got a pack of berry burst paper here. So I'm just going to grab a sheet. Okay, so you get your cardstock and open up your punch. Line it up so you can see what you want, and I don't need the leaf in this color, I just need the flowers. And give it a good squeeze and you're in business. So you don't need a die cutting machine with the punches. You can do this with just the punch alone. And although I did cut out all these other foliage and things with the die cutting machine, and then these things I punched in Lost Lagoon cardstock with the bow punch. The bow punch I think is going on 2 years old, so I'm pretty sure that's not going to be available for much longer. I'm not so sure about the Petal Park, but I would not dilly-dally. If this is of interest to you, I would grab them while you can, and I mean that sincerely, because have been so many things running out, and I don't want you to be disappointed. So my idea, let's get this out of the way, is I want to create a three-dimensional cluster of sculpted flowers, and I'm going to be mounting that inside the box I showed you a minute ago. I have this little square, and this square was made with this set. Okay, so there it is in there. And I'm going to use that for a base. And then I've got a little scrap of the distressed gold paper. And so just to have a little bit of gold sparkle shining through, I'm going to go ahead and mount that. And I love my liquid glue because it's good for everything. And I'm just going to slip that into place, get that where I want it. And this little square now is going to become the platform for all of the 3D flowers that I add to it. All right, there we go. Now I have this little paper sculpting kit that comes with a bunch of various sized ball burnishers and a couple of other items in here, and this is what I'm going to be using. So it has an extra thick foam pad, if I can get my fingernail under there. Here we go. So you see it's really thick. It's like 1/2 inch thick. Not quite. It's more like 3/8 of an inch thick, but it's good and thick. So you've got this kind of softer one, and then you've got a stiffer one for details. And in the set, you get this pair of reverse tweezers. So a reverse tweezer is one that you push to open up. Okay, and this is you have to use a little muscle on this because they're very strong. So you push and they open. So that means that if you put something in there, you can just hold it without squeezing, and it's going to hold it perfectly. So those are handy. And we're probably going to need, I'm going to grab a couple of these. So this one has a tiny, or actually not so tiny. That's tiny. We don't need, well, we might need that. I'm going to grab them all just in case. All right. And I'm also also going to grab my piercing pad because I'm going to do a little sponging too. So I'm going to make a selection of some of these larger flower shapes. And then I'm going to grab some of the mediums and the smalls too. And I may mix them up a little bit. They're not all going to be the same, I don't think. But I'm just going to get an assortment out. All right, and then I have my inks. So some of the inks that I pulled out are the Gorgeous Grape, the Highland Heather, and the Lost Lagoon. I've got my trusty little blending brushes, and I'm going to zoom you in just a minute. I know it's a little bit far away right now, but first, I just want to check my blending brush box, so it looks like this. And I'm just going to see if I already have some of these. Yes, I do. So you see I've already got the Lost Lagoon used from that workshop I did not too long ago. So let's just grab that. Okay. So the way you do this, I've got this beautiful foliage from the lovely lavender bundle. And then I've got my leaves from the bough punch. And Charlotte says, "You're welcome. Love doing it." Well, Charlotte, that was such a special gift, and you're so thoughtful. You know me so well. All those things I love that you included on there. That was a lot of fun. So I'm just tapping my brush on the ink pad, and I'm just going to gently, in a circular motion, kind of make my way up the stem. And so I'm doing tone on tone, and as I'm looking at this, I see it's a little bit darker, but I think I want to try the Pretty Peacock. So here's my Pretty Peacock, and because this is in the same color family as the Lost Lagoon, I'm going to go ahead and use the same brush. So let's see what that gives us. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. Close this one up for the moment. We may need that. Do you see how that's starting to get a little bit darker? And so it looks a little more natural, as if there's the play of light and shade on the leaves. So I'm just going to go ahead and make my way around, and I'm going to get the edges. And then I'm going to leave a little bit on the inside as is. And you may be able to see this process a little bit better on this one. Okay, so you see it's starting to get a little bit of color on there. And I can go around the edges and just sort of add a little bit of an accent. Doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to have a little change of value, really, is what I'm looking for. So when I say value, I'm referring to the lightness or the darkness of something, a particular color. You know, this helps your shapes to look a little more natural, a little more finished, a little more polished, less just, you know, cut out. And I just think that when you do these details, you take the minute to do the little bit extra something like this. It makes all the difference. And I'm not sure if I'm going to use these berries, but I'm going to go ahead and get them started just in case. Now you could also do this with your inks on watercolor paper if you want to do that. I didn't want to use a paper that was as stiff as the watercolor paper. I wanted a little more flexibility for these sculpted flowers, and so this cardstock should be just about right. And the other thing that happens is that when you add a lot of ink, like I am here, that moisture also helps to soften up the paper a little bit. And I'm going to be doing some things to the papers as we go. So let's try some of these other colors. So I have this gorgeous grape. Well, let me just try. So this is actually that that in color. What's you people out there, you know the name of this in color, this kind of lilac in color. I can't think of the name of it. Tell me what the name of it is. So I'm going to go ahead. This is the Highland Heather ink. And I'm going to go around the edges. And just give that a little bit of an accent. Fresh Freesia. Teresa, good for you. That's the one. Fresh Freesia. That's the name of this pale lavender color cardstock. And so what I'm doing is I'm using a slightly darker ink, which is the Highland Heather, that's going to give it that little bit of an extra modeling on there. I'm not going to be using this many things today, but I like it when I have everything ready to go so that when it comes time to create, that it's I don't have to go looking for things. So there's let's get this little one here. Two more. Get this little one and this medium one. If you have the little daubers, they work great for this. You can use those instead. And then finally, I'm going to take my gorgeous grape, which is a dark violet or purple color, and I'm going to use that, and again I'm going to use the same blending brush because it's in the same family. And I'm going to see how that looks on my berry burst, and that looks good. So it's just enough to give it a little extra something. It's okay if it's splotchy, it doesn't matter. If you take a good look at a lot of flowers, you'll see that many of them have irregular splotches and stripes on them. So nature is not fussy. And let's see, do I have a little one in that color? Yes. Okay. Let's see what it looks like on here. Oh, the gorgeous grape looks really nice on the fresh freesia as well. Do that on a couple. All right, I think that's enough to get started with. We can always come back and do a few more. Emma guessed fresh freesia as well. Thank you so much, Emma. Good to see you here. Okay. Oh, you know what? I have these die cuts. I wonder what they would look like with a little... Oh, let's try that. I'm going back to the gorgeous grape, and I just want to add a little bit of this deeper tone here and there. Oh yes, I like that quite a lot. So just coming along the stem. All right, so I'm not sure if you can see that, but there's a little bit of a variation there, and it looks really pretty. I'm going to do these really quickly. Again, I'm not sure how many of these I'll actually end up using, but they will be ready to go for the next project. And I do have a little sneak preview of something else too that I've got in the works that is kind of related to this. The other nice thing about these lovely lavender dies is that in this set are these long skinny ones, and I was able to go into my stash and pull out some, you know how you get a lot of those long skinny strips sometimes in your cardstock and they just sort of kick around? Well, they were perfect for this. So I was able to do some scrap busting as well for this project. Let's get this one. All right, that's really it. That's the last one. Okay, now next thing. I'm going to get out my foam pad. All right, and I want to start shaping these flowers a little bit. And so I can begin with a very large ball burnisher and just sort of go in a little circular pattern, and I start to get a little bit of a shape just by going in circles. I'm applying a fair amount of pressure. But you see what that does? It begins to cup that shape very nicely. And the other thing I like to do is to take that tiny ball burnisher, and I like to put some lines. So if you press, so starting at the center and radiating out towards the edges of each of the petals, you can start to get some of those beautiful little ruffles and pleats that you often see on flowers. and I can get that dimension back very quickly just by pressing in the center. All right, so you end up with something that looks like that. So that looks very nice. Now the other thing you can do is go around the tippy edges, and for this I'm going to need my harder pad to do this detail work. So I can it's not exactly distressing, but I'm kind of denting the edges of the petal, and it starts to give it this very natural look that if you look very closely, if you're a flower lover like I am, if you look very closely at some of these flowers, like let's say a delphinium or something, a lot of times you will see that little kind of a ruffle around the edges. And then finally, the other thing you can do, which I often like to do, is that when you're working with a die cut shape or a punched shape, sometimes there are constraints as to how deep the tool can go into the paper. But what you can do is you can come in with your snips and just extend that division between each of the petals a little bit more, and that's going to give you a lot more play. And I'm going to show you that in just a second. All right, and so then what you can do, and now I'm going to grab that reverse tweezer, and I can actually, I hope you can see this well enough, but I can put that at the edge of the petal, and I can start to curl that. So I can just spin that around, and that's going to give me a little curl on the petals. And I can do it this way from the edge or the tip of the petal. I can roll it under like that, or I can do the reverse, and I can give it a little spin the opposite way and have that petal curl inwards. All right, or I could mix it up so it starts to have a kind of a crumpled little effect. Also, what I can do is I can take my tweezer and I can put it lengthwise down the length of the petal like that, and then I can pinch it. Okay, so I can give it a little pinch at the base, and that's also going to help give me an alternate shape to my petal. Just you know, like I said before, it's all in the details, so all these little things. Now, conversely, if that's the right word, you could also just take your paper and scrumble it up and get it all rough and wrinkled, and you could get a very nice effect that way as well. So what I would say is just, you know, do your experiments. Try all the different things, try them together, try them separately, and just see what works well with your particular shape of the flower, and also what is the effect that you want to get. So I like having these sort of turning away a little bit. And I'm going to go back to my big one, and I'm going to get that cup working again. So now, you know, it's starting to look a lot more natural. If I wanted to, I could pull up some of these petals a little bit, pull some of them down, and just get a lot of spatial dimension. So there it is. So there's my little first part. So I would continue, and you know, you could spend the entire afternoon doing this, but I'm going to go ahead with this middle sized flower now. I'm going to go ahead and pinch it like I just showed you on the big one. Okay, and you see that starts to look like a hydrangea flower. You know, because it has that little dip in it, it's probably meant to be a dogwood, but it could pass for a hydrangea maybe. And we also, don't forget, we also have that beautiful dogwood set that's in the celebration brochure. I love that set. If you haven't had a good look at that, go take a peek, because it's got everything in it. It's got all the different elements. Great for journaling. And I'm going to use the smaller end of my ball burnisher, and I'm just going to give that a good circling in the center. And I can sort of bend up those petals like so. And then finally I'm going to go with my little one. Let's see, do I have one that I sponged? And yes, I do. And again, I'm going to get my snips out, and I'm just going to give it a little, maybe 1/8 of an inch extra, so that I can really bend those petals and give them a little more life. There we go. And then what I'll do is I'll come back in around the edge, give it that little roughly feeling. Now I'm just going to demonstrate this one to you, because this will otherwise take a lot of time, and I want to show you some other things. But I think you get the idea. And this will, you know, you can use these things on just about anything. It could be your note cards, your boxes, your gift bags. I mean, really, this is a great way to dress up your projects. All right, so now I've got 3 layers, and I'm just going to take them, and for this I'm going to be using my trusty glue tweezers, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a dot of glue in the center. I'm going to pick up my next layer, hold that for just a minute, let that set up. I'm going to grab my ball burnisher and give that a good press. Okay, and then what I can do is just sort of finesse this a little bit. Fluff it up, sort of curl those things up and under. And then of course you want to select something for your center. So I have a couple of things out here. I'll show you what I've gathered. So of course there are the beautiful amethyst. Oh, they're not called amethyst. What are they called? The purple fine shimmer gems. So any of those would look really pretty in there. I also have the 20, 23, 25 in colored dots, and these wild wheat ones would be really pretty in there. But then I came across the adhesive back snowflake assortment that I never got around to using at Christmas, and I thought, how great would it be to use one of those? So let's just see how that looks. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a little tiny one. Put that right in the center. Press that down. Alright, so this is what that looks like so far. That's pretty sweet. And then I'm going to grab one of these mini dots. If I can open the package. This is the wild wheat. I'm just going to put that in the center. Alright, so there is my first little flower. And then what I would do would be to put it on my base. And let's see if I've got a dimensional handy here. Okay, here's a mini. I think that, well, maybe get a bigger one. Mini is what we've got. Unless I just use up one of these, I think I'll do that. So there's my first little flower on my base. I would take some of these beautiful die cuts from the lavender set. I'm just going to snip those apart. And for this, I can give this a little bit of a curl gently with my bone folder. Just kind of get those leaves doing something other than just laying flat. I can go back the other direction. Use that a little bit of glue, a couple of dots of glue. Sort of tuck that under. And I'm holding it in place so that the leaves actually curl around a little bit. Okay, I want them to have a little bit of a lift to them. I'm just holding that for a minute to let that set up. Now I also love this color. Okay, so I'd like to get some of that in there. Get this so you can see better. So I'd like to get that in there near that Lost Lagoon. So give that a little snip. And let me hold it from the other end. Okay, and let's see, get one of my sponged leaves. I just need to couple of those. Actually, let's give that a little bit of a curl also. Also, you know, with the leaves, you can take your tweezer, put that the length of the leaf, and give that a little pinch at the base of the leaf, and that's going to help give you a much more natural shape. So just a little pinch. All right, and then add my glue. Tuck that under. And I think you can start to see how this develops. Now I may add a couple more smaller flowers, or maybe I may add some of these cute berries. That would be adorable. Okay, so I could decide on that later. And then I can also add some of my amethyst. I don't know why I keep calling them amethyst. I guess because it's my birthstone and I love amethyst. So I can grab one of these sort of redder ones and just sort of pop that on there. And I'll get a slightly different one. And actually, I'll put that right on the leaf. All right, so now I've got a little bit of sparkle happening there. It's looking very pretty. I love these sort of frilly lavender leaves. I'd probably add another one. But I want to get to the inside of the box, so let me zoom out here so we can see the box again. So these, don't forget, if you have any of these adhesive back snowflake assortments left over, these are going to make awesome centers to your flowers. So they're not just for Christmas. All right, so let's get my box back. I'm going to have a play with all these other things after we're done with the video today. But I want to share this with you. So what I've done here is I've created a typical kind of an explosion box using the Perennial Lavender papers. So there are a couple of different DSPs that I've used to decorate the outside. And then of course on the cover, I used the die cuts to create this beautiful arrangement on the lid. Now in this case, I did keep it flat because I knew that I was going to be tying it closed with a bow. But there's no reason at all why you couldn't add a few little sculpted flowers, and I will probably do that as well. And then the other thing that I did was that I used the tailor-made tag set to create this tag, and this is a stiff tag. It's doubled up, so I sandwiched the two tags together with the right side out with that beautiful stitched detail, and then I added that little reinforcement circle that comes in the set. So that's very cute, and it has that distress gold paper. Now if this ribbon is not familiar to you, this is a retired ribbon, and it's one that I love. It's called it's Blackberry Bliss, and it's called the striped ribbon. And you can see it has this beautiful sheer stripe, sort of see-through striped effect, and I just love this ribbon. If you don't have that, we have the beautiful Lost Lagoon ribbon, which would work just as well. So that is still available, and you could get some of that. Love this ribbon. It's sort of a linen ribbon. I love linen. All right, enough talk. I'm going to show you the inside of the box. So it opens up like so, okay, and that ribbon is attached to the bottom. And if you subscribe to notes from Dandelion Cottage, which you can do in the, if you click on the sign up button in the banner on my Facebook page, or if you're watching on YouTube, I'll put the link in the description. If you sign up for notes from Dandelion Cottage, I'm going to tell you how you can get all the measurements and instructions on how to create this box. So now I'm pulling the lid off. Voila. And the box opens up like so. Alright, and then my little decoration that I'm working on is going to go inside here, and I'm going to add some more elements around the edges. But in here, you take the lid off of this box, you have your Ferrero Rochers. So perfect for Easter, perfect for Mother's Day, birthday, or just because you want to let somebody know that you're thinking about them. Really nice surprise. And the box is made extremely well. So everything is reinforced, it's really sturdy, and it's the kind of box that is going to hold up for a long time after those chocolates are devoured, and can be used for any other kind of keepsake that people may have. So that is my paper crafting Thursday for today. Thank you so much for joining me and coming in a little bit late. Next week's schedule is also going to be a little bit crazy, so I will post that as I know better what's going to be happening. And I do want to give you a little sneak peek on one more project that I'm in the midst of working on, and it is also a lovely lavender project. And I just have a little 3x3 envelope here because the size suits it. So I'm not sure. I may do a little stamping, a little die cutting decoration on the envelope too. But this is a really cute little kind of a flip-flop journal or folder. So I'm untying the ribbon, and that ribbon has been stuck to the back so that people don't lose it. And then this opens up like so, and you have a little tuck pocket here, and I've used the special dies that you can get with the paper pumpkins that coordinate with the I think it's the January, February, and March paper pumpkin set. So you can see that beautiful little leaf and the love. So that's all die cut. That's a really nice die to have. And then behind there I have a lovely lavender stamp. Tucked in here I also have that tiny little envelope from, what's the name of it? This is called Sending Love. And it's a die set that has that mailbox, and it has this cute little envelope that you can die cut out. So I went ahead and I did that, and I put it together. And then it just so happened that in that postage set, one of the dies fits in there as well. And I've got a little piece of paper here that I could put a tiny message on, or stamp it with like a little heart shape or whatever. So that all tucks in here very nicely. I'm not done decorating it yet. This is just the basis that I'm sharing with you right now. But this opens up like so. You've got these gatefold doors on the inside. And here is a little folder that you can add a stamped message, or you could add a couple more pieces of paper and turn this into a little notebook. You could put some Post-its in here if you wanted to make it into a Post-it note holder. And then on the inside here, you have another little flip up, that has more of that beautiful DSP. This is from the Lovely Lavender. Everything you see here is from the Lovely Lavender. And then back here is a tuck. I think you can see that. And I've got another little die cut with the DSP. So my next step with this is going to be using some of these beautiful punched out flowers and die cuts that I just showed you, and to decorate this. And then this is just this cute little portfolio that you could use for journaling or put photos, or you could tuck some money in there if you're giving somebody a money gift. So all sorts of things. And so just to give you an idea, here is that beautiful distressed gold paper. Could add a couple of those. Add some flowers. So I think you get the idea there. All right, I'm not going to keep you any longer. I'm going to look very quickly and see if anybody has asked any questions. Let's take a quick look. I'm so glad you could join us today, Charlotte. Teresa says, really pretty, thank you. Emma says, really cute, lots of detail. And everybody else is saying hi. Okay, good to see you all. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I hope if you don't already have the Lovely or Perennial Lavender Suite, take another look at it. I'm finding that it's one of those sets that's super versatile, that you're going to be using it all year long. It is sort of a non-seasonal specific set, and I could see it as a really nice go-to set to have. And of course, you can change up the colors if you're not crazy about this color palette, which I am. But if you want to see it a different way, you could certainly do that as well. Stay well, stay happy, stay creative, and I will see you next time.